Let's hit it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another all-new X is for Show, your premier media response show. Today we are talking about some big Star Trek stuff. We got Strange New Worlds, we got SDCC news, we got Starfleet Academy trailers, whole lot of stuff going on. Big time, big days, everybody's feeling big. NICO action.
TK accidental.
KEVO, really? Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But yeah, it has been a year since we got that image that we had in the opening, giving us a preview of what we would have in season 3 of Strange New Worlds, and 2 years since the last time we've had new episodes. This is really exciting, and a lot of great news too. Good stuff.
I think the thing I'm most excited about is that Strange New Worlds is back. I'm having a great time with it. Like right off the bat, this has been three baller episodes, 3 killer episodes for me. I think the first one was the weakest. I had such a great time with this last one, even though I expected not to. I obviously loved the wedding. No, I just had a great time. I feel like we're off to a strong season, and thank goodness, because there's not a lot of season left.
What is this one getting 9?
No, this is 10.
Okay, so we got.
Well, there's not a lot of time left in general. That's why, NICO pointed out the cover is a bit verbose, but it's because I think it was so cool that we happened to decide to land our Star Trek. Because we're halfway through the episode order. As far as we know it, if stuff gets reduced, that'll be way sad. But I'm excited to get. No, it probably won't, because this has been doing so well, and I think it is, like Nico said, still been doing so well. Even this week's episode, which, knowing the plot, seeing the description, I wasn't sure I was going to feel going into it. But Strange New Worlds even has a way of making the episodes about things that I think might be sluggish end up being really amazing, like the fuel refinery episode last season. A lot of that I didn't love, but even that has subplots, character interactions. It's a great ensemble.
Yeah, I really got to thank you both for, in the case of Discovery, just reminding me that I should watch it, that like I liked it, but then with this really pushing me to watch it. And, I'm having like kind of a period of realization while this is out, and, I'm realizing that I can be a very tough person to please. I'm trying to remember what I was just talking. I think it was yesterday when we were talking about Fantastic Four. It might have been during one of our comics episodes. It was during our comics episode where I was talking about the Ultimate Universe, and I'm like, they've lost with me either way, because if they keep it going, I'm going to call them hacks for keeping it going, and if they cancel it, I'm going to say I'm sad that they.
You guys stick to your guns and are too serious, it'll bother me. But if you're going to give me exactly what I want, you're going to disappoint me.
Yeah, and I'm realizing I'm just such a little bitch, and I'm. It's the same thing with Star Trek. We got to a point where when they first announced Discovery, I was like legitimately pretty disappointed, because I just didn't want a show that took place in the era that it was taking place.
Yeah.
And but it's a really good show, and we hadn't had Star Trek in a while, and it was fine. I was like, I don't really want this, but let them do their thing. I like really kind of pissed on this show, because I was like, no, I'm sick of this. I don't want any of it. I think I told you guys I wasn't going to watch it, but you were really enthusiastic about it, and finally I did. Problem is, I kept saying like, no, I want them to go into like the future, and I want to see what happens. And I sort of meant where Picard is, but I think I was talking later than Picard, but also earlier than, and this is where we get to the next thing. I said I wanted them to go into the future, and then Discovery went into the future, and I got pissy about that because I didn't like the future that they created, which I was certain by the end of the show they would reset. And now I'm pissy because we're stuck here with Starfleet Academy, meaning this will canonically always be what happened. Like Picard's future, like everybody's future that's in Picard is what happens in Starfleet Academy. And I could get behind it. I think I'm always having trouble with the fact that civilization basically collapsed because of a whiny bitch baby alien, and not for a cool reason. Like the Borg finally did something. They're like, we're finally going to get our revenge on the Federation and fuck everything up. The Dominion did something. The giant face in space finally came back and was like, no, we're turning off dilithium. That's what I thought it was going to be. And I was just so disappointed that it wound up being a crying child just fucked up dilithium, and like the little things that have come out of the future.
It's not that that's not Star Trek when you think about Ron Howard's brother being that creepy baby in TOS. And that's the thing. You know, whenever I hear people ding stuff like that, because I know this isn't what you're doing. A lot of people who ding stuff like that, they come at it from such a place of that's not Star Trek. It's not that it's not Star Trek, but like a lot of the when we finished this week's episode of SNW, it offered an episode of TNG, and it was the season 1 finale with the conspiracy butt bugs, and we were like, no, you know, Star Trek always does horrible things. But, you know, like you're saying, this is such a huge consequence, and it's not even that the burn is the problem, but the cause of the burn is such a weird thing that is one of those Star Trek things. It could have
been such a Star Trek moment. Like, it could have been such a huge lore moment.
But
it could have literally been lore. Lore could have done it. And
exactly. That would have been amazing.
What I was saying was it would be cool for the Star Trek lore, but literally Data's brother could have done it, and it would have been cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, my very verbose point is that I'm being a little bitch about it because it is what it is. It's happening. I complained that they didn't give me future. They did give me future, and then I complained about the future. I was complaining about the past. Now I love the past. I'm just so enamored of Strange New Worlds. And, you know, when I started this show, even I was like, okay, I'll watch it. It's good. It's cool. Whatever. I'm not going to watch it when they get to TOS era, and then that's the next show they do. I'm not doing that. And fully, that is what I'm praying. At this point, I'm like, okay, we already know who James T. Kirk is. We have most of the Enterprise crew here. If they decide to end the show and just redo TOS, basically, I'll watch. I'll be so into it.
In any form.
Yeah. If it was a movie, whatever they did, I really would be into it.
And, you know, part of where I'm kind of coming from is this is that thing that happens, and I've mentioned it a few places where these sorts of like super prequels wind up changing a lot of stuff. And I love Ortega's. I think she's great. I really hope that she does actually have a freaky Gorn baby in her, and I hope it's not just PTSD, and that they're going to realize they can only save one of the two people who's Gornified. And one of the reasons I love that is because I don't know who's Ortega's. Who is she? Who is Captain Balin, right? I feel like
Bartel.
Thank you. It feels so terrible of me. Who are these people in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah.
You can do something dynamic like that with them. You also can't convince me, though, that if on this bridge crew was a relative of Khan, that they would have to be discussed in the history of Star Trek. She could just disappear into time and be part of Section 31, and that would be amazing. You're at a place where, like, because this is a prequel, you either need to do that thing where, like, the Batman prequel, The Long Halloween, which was meant to explain how Batman got to be now, wound up so interesting it had its own continuity. That's what they're doing here. Like, I need this Pike not to just get piked, because that's no longer fulfilling. That's no longer this man's life. So now what we've done is we've taken an idea of a character and expanded him. But now we're still saying that a commercial conclusion is worth it for an encyclopedic character. I don't think that this man's what's going to be 6 seasons fits inside the original idea at all anymore.
If they did it right, I would be really happy. But I'll tell you what, some of those moments with Melissa George, where she's like, this is absolutely going to fucking happen to you, are some of the reasons why I fell in love with this show. And I could see us getting, like, you have it both ways. Like, she takes him away somewhere to like a pocket universe, but they have to leave like a homunculus that because they can't, they can't break up the timeline. I don't know. I agree, because I mean, Anson Mount is really good, and now we've fallen in love with this character, and he's so fleshed out. And yeah, maybe how this show concludes and what it gives us for even more Star Trek craziness is some kind of like, we're breaking the timeline so that there's a timeline where this doesn't happen to Pike, and that's where we'll go with anything that follows from this show versus the main timeline, which is the one we had always known before, where this does happen.
I'm hoping for a transporter clone. I'm hoping for a Riker situation, and then
who knows. it's so, and on a similar note, like the kind of the opposite of that, because we know that Melissa George is out there being like, when you are quadriplegic, I will be your girl. I'm just like, the clock is ticking on this lady right here. Like, I'm just waiting for the best birth to come. I feel a little bit bad, but I hate her so much. I find her so annoying.
I wish I didn't. She hasn't actually done anything to truly offend me, but no, I'm really with you. I guess she's just kind of annoying, but that's not enough to really be like, I don't care if you die. You should have died. You should have died last season, and I feel bad because you're a strong woman captain, but like...
She just, on top of everything else, she feels so boring and milquetoast and plain, and that's fine as for her to work at Starfleet is fine, but like compared to what Melissa George is bringing to the stage, Pike is the boring one, and so Pike just gets brought down by Batel's boringness, and they both seem boring. But when Pike is with Melissa George, he's the boring guy who's ready to have his horizons expanded by how intense the cosmos can be. And she literally Batel just wants to have a night in, like by the fire, and he always just seems more boring because he's hanging out with her.
It's mostly that I just don't really know where this story is going to go, both in the direction of, how is this going to evolve, whatever it is they're doing with the Gorn. But Nico made a really interesting point to me that shouldn't at this point in Pike's story, he kind of talk to her about his experience of knowing what his future is going to be so horrific. Is that where this is going? Because like, I wasn't expecting this M'Benga follow-up 4 episodes later either. So like, there's ways this story can go that will make it more dynamic. Yeah. But like, it's very far in and still on very shaky ground. Yeah.
It's an M'Banger is what it is.
I do think she is just not long for this world. Also, hands up for the casting director who got this nurse onto this show.
In those pants.
The most beautiful man in the world, and I love him, and I just don't care about Nurse Chapel.
Not with this hair.
Speaking of Nurse Chapel, Spock, I love you, dude, but we have got to back down from mind meld is sorcery. We are getting to a place where
that's not his. We started that with Voyager,
but like that makes sense for that point in the timeline. There's too much stuff between now and then where they're like, this is a new way of thinking about it. We're transforming the school of thought on volcanism. We're changing how we approach mind melds. There's too many things that are Spock firsts.
This is why it's the recursiveness of going back, writers who watched Voyager growing up, becoming writers on this show that takes place in Voyager's distant past.
Yep.
This is why I was always skeptical about them doing this show.
And that's what I was trying to remember. It's that they specifically put a pin on Tuvok being especially talented and telepathic, correct? I can't remember if they've ever established Spock is kind of extra when it comes to mind meld. I think that might be what I'm remembering, though, that Tuvok is the one who is extra talented, and that's why he was the logical one to have in that Lower Decks cameo of him being a badass, because and that's fine. But then, exactly like you're saying, it did open the door for them to be a little bit too casual, and they've been doing this for a while. It started on Disco with Sarek. Sarek was also a little bit too handsy when it came to people. It just gets to be a little too easy. I appreciated them saying it's something like a mind meld. Let's make it tangential. Let's pretend that's an excuse.
And it's one of the things where I'm so glad that Voyager inspired this. I'm so glad for the ways that Next Gen inspired with Q into this show. I'm so glad for the ways that all of these shows inspired into the next. It's sort of where I'm having a great time with this season so far. I feel like it's just a light, good time. The one thing that I think is maybe happening is we're maybe doing Star Trek Fruit Punch. So I can taste a lot of really cool characters, but I can never really separate them out at this point. It's just a lot of everybody all the time. And so I could maybe use episodes that don't have some characters in them, which is where, as much as I love Kirk, it's cool that he hasn't been around much, because there just isn't really room. So I'm relieved that they're not trying to add, but like Uhura's had like 6 lines. And that's a little bit of a bummer. So I could use a little bit more distillation.
On the one hand, totally. On the other hand, when I think of this show, I think of the musical episode, and I think of her, the lead of the musical episode. So like she was due a slight fade into the background at that like crescendo of everything. We got a solid Spock episode. The Gorn episode is a little mixed, but I feel like it's other things. Like throughout these 3 episodes, I feel like I've gotten more Unachin than ever before. Like she's really shining through. None of the episodes have especially focused on her or like told a story where she's the lead, but she's doing so much and talking so much. And even just like that scene where she meets the nurse, the super hot nurse in sickbay, and she's just kind of palling around with him. She gives off so much personality, and I found myself falling in love with her all over again. Again, another character that I was like, no, this is a bad idea. I don't want to watch the show because I think this is a stupid casting. And she just proved me so wrong, and has been such an incredible delight. Kind of on the flip of that, Ortega's like, I see what we're doing here, and we get that much spotlight each episode where we see that something's going on. It's a little tough to you do it perfectly. I think it must maybe a Cuban thing, just a general Latina thing. Because we also have Patel Gorn traumatized. I feel like maybe we don't super have room for this storyline. Honestly, what came out of the last episode again was Rebecca Romaine disciplining her was the thing that I cared about. I was so impressed with how Rebecca Romaine handles that scene. I sort of didn't care about Ortegas at all, but it's supposed to be a moment about how she's breaking down, having gone through something traumatic. And I think that is down to, we do have a lot of characters. That's not even getting into Scotty or Lillian from Kimmy Schmidt trying to discipline Scotty.
I'm in space.
I love her so much. I can only call her Lillian from Kimmy Schmidt.
Meanwhile, I think of her as Simca. So
yeah.
Oh my god, I just realized that Holly Hunter is probably half Lanthanite on Starfleet Academy, because it's just, if you talk weird, you're going to be half Lanthanite.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, goodness.
She's also the fairy godmother from one of those Shelley Long.
Weird. What? Oh, from one of the fairy tale theater things?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
From the Snow White one.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, like you're right. There are a lot of people here, and so I'm glad like they haven't tried to foist any kind of Sam situation on us. He's just in the background wrestling with his sexuality,
which I love.
And the thing that I love that we're not addressing is I love the way they're like kind of edging us through Star Trek in a compelling way. Like I was saying to KEVO that one of the things is I don't want to see Ortegas die, but I need her to leave the ship somehow, because I need who is canonically a ripped hot little gay dude to come join the real one. But I need Sulu, and so like at some point Sulu's got to take that spot, and Ortegas doesn't have like that famous arc about how we all call it the Ortegas maneuver, and it's on the USS Ortegas, and it all takes place on Centauri Ortegas 7. So like it can't matter. And I don't mean that like, so get your ducks in a row, girl, but like you might want to make sure that that you don't pull a Stargate Atlantis and buy a house near production. You know, you're only so long for this world, so like, you know, vibe.
That's the thing too, though. With 23 episodes left, who knows? They might be like, we don't really need to kill anyone until season 5 now.
Yeah, but you know, somebody obviously is getting a promotion and going somewhere. Somebody's gonna die. La'an, La'an and Ortegas are the two where we're really just like, I mean, I think one of them is going to die and one of them is going to get a promotion.
It's Section 31.
Right. But man, she's such a good character.
And this is, well, by all means.
Well, this is another thing where I'm like, I would be happy to split the timeline so that she could continue on. You know, timeline where she gets to be on the Enterprise and Pike gets to not be, quadriplegic.
Do we remember what year Section 31 the movie was? Because I'd love to see her team up with Georgiou.
You know, that'd be really fun, but now I'm super addicted to TK's pitch of redoing TOS with a different bridge crew, and that's just fine. Because you know what, TK, I'm gonna give you a little. When you sent the preview for the podcast into the chat, we were like show, and you were like podcast, and we were like that's fine. And so we're like, once we got over the raging disappointment, we were super excited, and so we watched the trailer. You've got an unbelievable cast of like actual people. You've got Tim Russ coming back to do Tuvok. You've got George Takei coming back to do Sulu. You've got what sounds like a great voice cast of characters.
Naveen Andrews for Khan.
For Khan, right? And it's Khan. So I wonder if this will play into a timeline that acknowledges her possible existence.
Yeah, totally. You know, and the other reason I wonder about timeline stuff and changing up the bridge crew is because it's gonna, if they did want to do anything TOS related, her was the only woman, and like it's a lot of the stuff is not
Nurse
going.
Chapel.
The only bridge crew woman. A lot of the stuff is not going to fly with how things were. I mean, I know we'll get a background woman, and they'll just kind of fudge making somebody who wasn't actually there be a little bit. I know they can do it. It's not a big deal. But if you just straight up
Ensign Tina.
No, but
I'm here now. I got jokes.
Something I was thinking about this week too is the fact that look at this cast, look at all of the men that are on this crew. Even if you add Scotty, all of these men are immortal. None of these men can be killed in the action. That's, you know, we were discussing the merits of characters that can't die because of the nature of it being a prequel. I was saying how, you know, back in the 1990s during that golden age of Star Trek, we always felt the peril every week, but frankly, we are very aware, especially now, 30 years later, no one was going to die. If you are a contracted...
You only get one Yar.
Yeah, Yar was a fluke. If you are a contracted regular, there is no way that you are dying in this episode. That would be insane. It is a 1 in 1,000,000 chance.
Truly, the only one I can think of recently, Peter Krause, the 911 shocker.
Yeah,
Peter Krause.
And I feel like it's sometimes more common now, but it's because we grew up without it anyway. Like, it's not something we're unfamiliar with. The idea that the peril is only so perilous. It doesn't mean there aren't things we can't do with the characters still.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kess is the other big one. I don't think Deep Space Nine ever had one.
But Jadzia. Yeah. But I mean, like, But the thing is, Jadzia and Kess were both major news items. Yeah. Tasha Yar was a major news item. Like, you can't just off someone, especially because like the way these shows are produced. I don't know how you would be able to off somebody, like super secret. Like, you would have to do it where like they keep appearing. Like, that's how they made the Peter Krause thing work. He appears in the next 2 episodes. So like, you know, it's fine. But I think the other big one for me with this show, there's so few episodes, right? There's going to be 56 altogether. And
40.
If you want to 46,
46.
right? Thank you. But there's going to be 46 altogether. Plus, you can add like 10 episodes between short treks and disco stuff. So you can get this to like 56 episodes. You can get this to this nice big number, very plump, very full. And one of the things that it makes me realize is, oh my God, this show took chances constantly. Holy shit. Lower Decks, the musical, we've got a puppet coming up. The Wedding in and of itself, taking a big chance, big swing. Finding ways to do holodeck episodes without a holodeck. And this is the Jim Henson puppet, and I just want to point out that I noticed it right away because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the head shape of a Henson puppet is a trademark thing, or like a patented thing. So, beautiful. Looks beautiful. Really excited. Would love to get one. It's just, this is the dream. We're living in like a Star Trek golden age.
I mean, I would even say figuring out how to do a zombie episode.
Oh my God! Thank you. How did I leave that off? Excellent.
Yeah,
thank you.
Because but then there have been other ones that are like a little bit genre like that. The Traveling to the Past episode. This isn't that one. This is one from
this is an upcoming one.
Next week.
Yeah.
This is next week's non-holodeck.
Right. but yeah, like La'an and Kirk traveling back in time is another example of that. I mean, like they really do take chances. And I'm always surprised it pays off with a voice that's different than how Disco would have done an episode like this, and then a totally different than how other, like, all the like completely earlier Treks would have done an episode like this. But like, when I realized it was a zombie episode, I was like, here come the gags and here come the stupid jokes, and instead it is yet another rehashing of Mbenga's war trauma, and like an examination of Pike's romantic life. I mean, this is so much closer to like 28 Days Later than it is to Zombieland. And it's just very impressive for a show that, in ways that we love all the time, can go so campy. To the point there's a musical episode. I mean, like the fact that a musical episode happened in this show, but also a zombie episode where war criminals have to confront each other and decide to fight to the death. And it's not a fucking joke. Like, there's nothing funny about it. It's pretty amazing.
I agree. And just when you said the gag I'm so sorry, but I have to say I need Keke Palmer as Michael Burnham in a comedy special. Being like, The gag is, we're in the future. So I need it. But I think that's even like a huge part of the magic. That what you were pointing to is like a huge part of the magic, because one of the things that makes this particular Star Trek so unique is that it's visually strikingly different as well. Mm-hmm. Like, the atmosphere is kind of one of a kind. It's not striving to be another Star Trek. And by not, because like you brought up some great points about Voyager. I know I'm a Deep Space Nine guy. Kevo is a big TNG guy, although he's a big everything guy as well, like we all are. But I really feel like the romance in this show is that it's willing to be brave, yet unwilling to say the playbook was always wrong.
And good.
No, go for it.
Something I also find really fascinating about this season is the way that it is the positive ways in which that it tries to re-examine the past and sort of refocus it. Corby is a really hated character, and rightfully based on the canon that exists of the episode where he tries to kill Nurse Chapel in TOS. Sorry, spoilers for 1963, but part of that is he was, I actually forgot, a weird android clone or something. And so, like, the fact that this character is not very well thought of because of one weird episode from 1963, now we have an opportunity to perhaps develop this character and develop Chapel's history with him to the point where now we will be able to watch that episode where she loses him and have a completely new perspective on it. Whereas in the original series, it's just kind of a throwaway thought because it was just an early episode.
And, it's talking about early episodes, throwaway stuff. Like, one of the things that people don't even remember or realize is that, like, the whole basis for Star Trek doing what it did was production poverty. Desi Arnaz, that guy, Babalu, right? Desi Arnaz, the genius that he was, said, put this show on the air. Give this show a chance. Don't give it money, though. And, so they didn't have a lot of money. And so when they were like, we need to make another episode, they literally said, we're going to use one of our unaired pilots to produce an entire additional episode. And we're going to make footage work. We're going to reuse it in an interesting way. People think that this being a prequel is a bad idea. We're talking about a show that's been cannibalistic since day one to its success, to its betterment. And so, there is something in never letting go of the past for a show like this, but that is also willing to go wherever it go boldly where no Star Trek show has gone before.
Never forgetting, but never being shackled by is, I think, what I would even say. That's so the theme of Starfleet in the first place is you need to keep moving forward. You don't need to forget your past or lose that. But it's also about continuing to do new things.
Which I think is where, we're halfway through and we might start running into a lot more trouble with this because the decision might be that this is canonically what always happened, in which case increasingly they just will have to do the stuff. Like, they're not going to be able to tell the Corby storyline because that does not happen until later. So even though we know that the guy becomes an android and ultimately has an antagonistic type of relationship with the crew, they really, even if they do an episode where they kind of try and reference that, they will somehow at the end of it have to have him go, oh, it was all a dream. I'll see you guys in 5 years when you're the Enterprise crew. And a lot more stuff of that might have to come up, or they make a big decision and, do a different timeline, do something else, who knows. But to the point that you were making earlier, Nico, that this show never tries to be a Star Trek show. And the point that you were making about the fact that the budget was so low, I think that's lack of funds breeds innovation to a certain point. But Star Trek is where you see that, if they'd had more money, things could have been good. That wouldn't have been paper taped onto that person. That would have been a sewn costume. And sometimes that's the thing that makes all the difference. Of course, it's still going to look how it looks. But this show really takes a lot of time to say, this is what Star Trek looks like if it had the budget that Gene Roddenberry would have liked to have had. It really works so hard to fulfill a lot of dreams of that early Star Trek had, but just couldn't achieve due to a certain number of limitations. And in doing so, it kind of gives us what we need through that process rather than trying really hard to be as Trekky as possible. It just sort of goes through a lot of stuff. It doesn't even rehash, but it just says you always wondered what it could be like. This is what it would be like.
Yeah, I'm not a big AI guy. It's a big conversation about a lot of things, and one of the places that I really hate that AI has encroached is into the music sphere. Not just original songs, made in AI that aren't really original songs if you think about it, but specifically AI generative ideas that are this artist doing this song. Where I saw one today that was the Spice Girls doing The Power of Goodbye by Madonna. And I didn't click it, but it got my brain going, wow, that is interesting. I would love to hear the number of songs that were never done by the person they were written for. Only like, Sia's Making the Most of the Night by Carly Rae Jepsen. You know, so for those of you who don't know, the reason that sometimes something doesn't happen, like a great script for Star Trek doesn't get made, is because it's a great script and then you look at the episode and it sucks. And like Making the Most of the Night is like the most Sia song a Carly Rae Jepsen song can be. But when Sia sings it, it really is like, and like it's a little too much. And
I could hear that for sure.
Oh my, yeah, Sia's such a talented performer and it's such a great song. And you can hear how it's meant to be kind of like a Sia song, right? But there isn't a cohesive symmetry. It doesn't flow right. And so sometimes we spend so much time wondering about the what could have beens that when we get our hands on them and they're horrible, it's a huge letdown. Kevo and I were watching a found footage, a found media thing today, like Lost Media Archive thing. And it was talking about how The Day the Clown Cried really is that terrible. And the people who have seen it really do think it is that bad. And it's almost like actually finding it is that bad is a realization. This show is doing something really fantastic where instead of having us go to comics that tell the story that never happened, or a novel that tell the story that never happened, or if you're really lucky, an audio drama that tells the story that never happened, like we got with the unproduced Alien films. For those of you who don't know, the original Alien 3 got turned into a comic book and then adapted into an audio drama, and the audio drama is fan-fucking-tastic. In fact, some of the best things in the Alien universe are the what-if stories that never got produced as films that became audio dramas. That there's 3 in particular that are just so good. And like, this is such a rare example of something that is usually saved for what I would call maybe fringe canon media. And so to have it be the centerpiece, the crown jewel in this regard, just feels almost unseemly to be that brave in an era of streaming fear. Oh, I done broke the show. So, but SDCC,
chew on.
Chew it up. SDCC, Starfleet Academy. I cried a couple times during that trailer.
Yeah, I also did. I am really stoked. I really want a real date for this, because I am so excited. So many things to scream over. I can't wait. What?
I'll take you on a real date for this. We'll go out, we'll get a nice dinner, we'll come home, we'll watch.
Okay. So many things to scream about, but the first thing, obviously, I want to scream about is this goddamn wall with all these beautiful, beautiful names of all of our
Commander Christine
friends.
Chapel, right there. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Commander Christine Chapel, like, left column, 4 down. Dr. Beverly Crusher. Dr. Wesley Crusher.
Guys,
oh my god, this is killing me. Kevo, this is such an unbelievable Bashir, Kevo,
Admiral
Harry Kim.
Harry
Oh my god.
Kim.
Kevo, what an
Lieutenant
unbelievable
Julian
screen
Bashir.
there. Oh my god. Uhura.
But like, is this like a Holocaust remembrance wall? What is this?
Well, this
It's
is
like
from
a legacy
Starfleet.
wall.
Yeah, I think it's, well, and that's the thing. Some of these titles, people are like, wait, so they never got promoted beyond that, which A, maybe not for some of them, but B, this might just be when they like did something notable. Some people speculate.
I love that Tawny Newsome became an admiral.
I know. Yeah. I love this.
Commander Deanna Troi.
Zero from Prodigy, which I need to finish now because this has the Doctor. Another image.
Did that say Jonathan Frakes at the bottom?
I would love if it did.
Go over a little bit more to the right. Other way, I'm so sorry. I can't read. I swear it says Jonathan Frakes between those two.
Yeah. Between the shoulders, it says Jonathan Fr.
Yeah, probably.
That's Jonathan Frakes.
I completely believe that. I wonder if, you know what? I wonder if this. Oh my God, no, Kristen Bear.
Oh my God, Tawny Newsome, right there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Guys, this is definitely cast and crew.
Oh, so great, so cool.
So
Tom Paris. Sorry.
Yeah, and B'Elanna got promoted beyond him. There's another really good screen grab that shows Ambassador Garrick. Ambassador Garrick is also listed.
Garrick, I love you so much.
Do we get Janeway? Is Admiral Janeway on there? What's going on here?
Janeway is the wall that these names rest on.
Janeway lived. Janeway's still alive. Yeah, there's Garrick.
Commander Beckett Mariner.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah,
She would never want to be a
twice.
captain. She would be so mad if she was a captain.
I'm actually looking for. Oh my God, Carol Freeman, left bottom corner.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is
Yeah.
unbelievable, Kevo. You really found an unbelievable set of screenshots for us to talk about.
And there's just so many cool things. Who is it? Which one?
Yeah, Lieutenant Commander Bellana Torres.
This character is a hologram. More specifically, what is it? Let me look how she's described in the
we see
summary.
her dancing in the trailer, and like
She's a holographic Starfleet Academy cadet, so I imagine she is going to like be excited to meet the Doctor. This is just... Where is he? Here he is. He's an admiral now. As he describes it, he has had 36 generations of organic colleagues by this point.
Wow.
oh,
So this just looks so cool. Whatever this is, the fate of Benjamin Sisko, emissary of the prophets, and it says, did he die in the fire caves of Bajor? Did he live on in the Celestial Temple?
If we get him back to answer that question, I'll be.
Oh my
stoked.
god.
Jake, you don't understand. Everything can be broken down into classic quotes and baseball.
I need these jackets, these Starfleet Academy jackets.
Yo,
Those
we would
will
look
absolutely
fucking
be for
fly in those at FlameCon.
Another
Those will definitely
behind
be
the
for
scenes
sale.
shot of one of the people. Got a nice patch. They're gonna
She's
sell
very
them. They
Gabby
have
Windy
to.
vibes. I like her.
Yeah, she's got some big queen vibes. I'm super into this.
Let's see.
Um,
She is Genesis. She is a member of the Dar Shah species.
Sure. Dar Shore.
Dar Shore,
I
not
believe
much
it-
else.
I believe it's pronounced Darfur.
Fair, you're right. I gotta get my stuff
We got
together.
Jay Din. I already saw some comments about that is not a Klingon name. Who cares? It's the.
It's
32nd
1,000 years
century.
later. I imagine Klingon
Literally.
names may have changed a little bit. The one I'm super excited about is Gina Yashir as Commander Laura Thok, the Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid.
What? How do you have so genuinely brave?
Yeah.
And Paul Giamatti is a
Old
Klingon
man.
Tellarite hybrid. So this is some interesting stuff they're doing in the future. We got
never
Admiral
believed-
Daddy.
I never believed that they were gonna get this. I'm actually like Holly Hunter, Paul Giamatti, Tig Notaro. There is so much like EGOT power in this cast. It is.
I remain convinced that Jet is a Q.
I would love if Jet.
You know what? Good.
I would love Jet and I can't think of her name. But we love her. Carol
Oh,
Kane's
yeah.
character.
Yeah.
If they could just kind of sit down and be like,
Ooh.
you know, we're both ancient, right?
Yeah.
We can like, can we go call Guinan and like have like a big girl powwow
Just
about some shit?
It's been a few thousand years. Let's
It's possible
let's
that
rehash.
Lillian's still alive.
And you know,
um,
it's a whole brave product. It's a whole brave project. I'm so excited about that. So TK, I know what Kevo thinks in depth because like, you know, I'm at him.
yes.
But like, how did you feel about the trailer?
I think I will enjoy the show, but that is a guess. It is not. I'm not convinced by the trailer. The trailer did not indicate to me that I would enjoy the show. I picked out a bunch of little things and imagined that I could get there. There is like on this show, I talk about a lot of stuff, and I like when we were talking about Fantastic Four yesterday, I was like, some woke intern came and told them they can't have a not blind actor playing Alicia Masters, and it's the same thing here. I was like, some woke intern came in and told them to do like it. When I say that, I'm saying that from the standpoint of somebody whose values are to the left of basically every single person I know, and sometimes when I shit on wokeness in the context of the stuff that I review and experience. It is more the kind of performative idea of it, and sometimes the idea that misses a lot of the actual applicable needs and uses for intersectionality. Star Trek tends to do a really good job. Kind of the best job possible, but you still notice things where like a bunch of the non-binary identity conversations in Star Trek Discovery were like so well intentioned, so like not bad at all, and I think probably helped people out a lot. But there's a part of me that's like we could have actually even done better, and I have a tough metric. And I was noticing stuff on this show that I sort of was taking me in that same direction. But I am excited. I think it will be interesting and cool. Again, like, I just so wish that the future were like a little bit different, and that it weren't so set in stone by the events of Discovery.
My hope is that, we, like we were saying before, that we just start moving forward. We don't need to really ever address the cause of the burn. The whole universe doesn't need to know it. It happened, and they got to the source of it, and it won't happen again. And that's all anyone needs to know. And so we can just reference it as what happened, not really think about its source, and just talk about the rebuilding. I'm looking forward to this as an opportunity to enjoy the future that they set out from Disco, because there were a lot of really cool things about it. I love the tech. Yeah. I love that we've moved far enough in the future that we're not worried about catching up with it anymore. But yeah, I need us to just have the burn is over, and now we're rebuilding, and we're living in the world and moving forward.
There's still just so much stuff that was immediate to the era of TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, and then even stuff that was picked up on Picard. Like, I still don't buy that Picard was the end of the Borg, but we also have like what happened to Alison Pillsborg, the Pillsborgy Doughboys, after. You're welcome for that. After season 2 of Picard, like where are they 1,000 years from now? What happened to the founders? The biggest thing in the fucking world to me, the thing that I was like, this should be the cause of the burn. I was 100% certain it was this species fucking 8472, who to me was just such an insane thing from that late era of UPN Star Trek that just never got addressed again. So I don't know. I mean, there's so much that was happening in Jean-Luc Picard's era that leapfrogging here, I'm bummed that like leapfrogging here, it's the same problem that we have with Strange New Worlds for me, which is like, because we know how set the future is, that sort of like, if they were like, oh well, we're giving you another season of Picard and it will explain species 847, what happened with species 8472, that's kind of less exciting to me now than if we found out what happened to them here, because from here they can be something.
I was even thinking about that, and I really agree. And specifically, I've been thinking about how, like, the TNG era is now sort of like the TOS to this era. And I kind of, as much as we're loving Strange New Worlds, and I want to get every last drop out of it, I want to get every last drop and move out. And that's why I maybe like the idea of Strange New Worlds movies or specials more than an Enterprise Year 1 show or something, because maybe we need to start, like you're saying, focusing more on TNG in tandem with this future and move forward from TOS. It's all about moving forward, guys. I remember they were talking about doing Kelvin movies again and setting them around Archer's time, and I'm like, No, don't, please. Let's move forward. I agree. I want to see more TNG, and I want to see more of this.
I'm just really looking forward to when they, and like, I'm not being like funny, but I'm really looking forward to when they have to recast Jean-Luc, because
Yeah,
we're rapidly approaching it. We're seeing the recast of the TOS era, and frankly, if I could get who I wanted, I would love to have. I feel so terrible. He's so beautiful, and he's such a great actor, and he's not Michael Fassbender. He is
Not James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. I would love to see James McAvoy, who I feel already has the tics down, has the mannerisms, but plays the character he plays the character totally different.
Yeah.
It's a totally different Xavier.
Yeah.
It's someone who can channel the energy. So it'd be really fun to see that. My other choice is gonna get a bigger laugh than Kevo's got right now. My other choice is Common.
Oh no, my choice is gonna get a pretty big laugh. I mean, guys, they already have the perfect casting. Tom Hardy.
I think I'm closer with Common.
As somebody who watches Silo, I can tell you that you are quite close.
But Tom Hardy said he worked so hard.
Is Common really good on Silo?
Yeah.
He was fucking poet laureate. You should all respect him every minute of the day.
Yeah.
And if you accuse me, I'm a testify.
God, there's some interesting recasting options for, and then like I'm so curious about who would have survived. It's wild to think that the Doctor survived the whole time. Like, was he just in Starfleet, in the broken Starfleet that like barely functioned and just had their one thing the whole time?
How many times was he turned off?
Yeah, who else got that far? Like, this was the one that I was like, Discovery, you're being rude by not telling us where the Dax symbiote is when we're doing all this symbiote stuff with Gray and the other one.
There is a lot of burden that this premiere is going to have to carry because, like they're saying, this is the first class of Starfleet in 120 years. How were they getting new recruits?
Yeah, what was everybody doing?
Oh, wait, we pulled back. It's the first class in San Francisco, except when they came to the future in Disco, they just walked right up to that tree they all used to study under. So, this is going to be interesting.
I don't want to be, it's not medicine in war, it's triage. It's not training in war.
Well, and Earth had removed themselves from the Federation, and we do clearly, but that doesn't mean the campus isn't still there, so they can go back to it. But then when things are fixed, Earth God, her fucking face. Sometimes.
I'm High Hunter, and I'm here to help Starfleet.
You know, when they fix everything, Earth and Vulcan are immediately back in the Federation, so it makes sense to think about. It all works. I'm fine with it. It's cool. It's cute. I just I have so much unfinished business from the Next Generation era, and I really it's tough because we are talking about moving forward and there's so many other possibilities. You know, all of the alien species that are completely new that are talked about here, but then also the fucking Klingon Jem'Hadar all the hybrid species, the Bajoran Cardassian president, whose daughter is one of the crew members, by the way, or one of the students. Is that her?
They said a president's daughter is.
Can I just say what I think?
She's the daughter of the president of Beta Z, I think I saw. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I also thought it would be her daughter. I got confused too. NICO.
The more I look at this, the more it really just feels like it borrows heavily visually from Final Fantasy VIII.
I see that.
The school with the angular, with the balconies, with the plants, with the giant open room, with the computer screens, with the blue on them. Yeah. I mean, this truly feels like Seed. This feels like Balam. Down to a military training academy to drive spaceships with special powers.
Yep. See it.
I love it. I'm really excited. I'm just having a good time. It's a good time to be a Star Trek fan because I feel like, honestly, Picard season 1 running concurrent with Disco season 3, I think, was ish.
Picard season 3 with season 2 of this. That was 2 years ago. And then last year was Disco season 5.
Well, I'm saying, but Picard season 1 is a hard time. It is not a fun time to be present. Disco season 1, not a fun time to be present on this show. Do you know what was never a bad time? Do you know what never let me down? Lower Decks. And so to see that Mariner is just fucking rocking it, that Tawny Newsome is fucking rocking it. As KEVO pointed out, though, we didn't hear a hide nor hair about Tawny Newsome's first ever Star Trek sitcom. So I'm just hoping that she's so busy being fabulous everywhere else that news just had to wait
a while to develop and to situate. It's funny you said what you said, because I never a bad moment for me with Picard.
Really?
No, not a single one. Not
cool.
Because specifically, that's all I wanted. Like, I just wanted to deal with the unfinished business of the era. If you were like debate the quality of each episode, I would not. A bunch of them don't stand up in the court of law.
Who cares? It made you happy.
Yeah, it made me happy, and it did. You know, I had so many questions about what was going to happen with synths as the show ended, and then as when Data got his emotion chip, and then we lost Data and we had B4. I just had so many questions about where that would go and how it might dovetail with the Doctor's technology, holotransmitter technology, and so that Picard was dealing with stuff like that it brought back Q. And then eventually the Borg, although I was not the most satisfied I've ever been with that bring back. Also, I've one of my pitches that I've had since I was a child was about the Borg and the Dominion meeting, and so I was that in particular, I was like, this is not what I had envisioned.
I just want to kiss older Riker so bad. Older Riker, he is real life Santa, and I want him to give me all the presents.
And then I forgot we still have Legacy.
In some capacity, because I don't think...
it's still an option,
right? No, and I love that word for it.
Yeah, but then the thing is, like, again, if Starfleet Academy exists, then I'm like, okay, well, at the end of season 1, I need them to go through a time wormhole, and now they're stuck there too, because whatever they develop. Whatever situation develops in Legacy, I'm just going to be saying to myself the whole time, okay, but then the burn's going to hit and none of this is going to matter. Or they'll really get me with a great plot where somebody is like, and I'm going to hibernate through the fucking burn and I'll see you on the other side of it.
I'm glad they made it so far in advance of TNG era as well, though. That helps for me, the fact that it's the 24th century to the 32nd century. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of bad shit happened that we don't want to know about in those centuries.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I also just want to put out there that I actually really love Andrew saying a Star Trek comedy featuring Alaska or Saphira or Jinx as a Klingon. I really thought about this very carefully. I truly believe that the only person that I would like to see Jinx play, only because I'm selfish, is Lwaxana Troi. I think Jinx's Lwaxana would be, if they do a TNG movie, that is a woman who is so unbelievably talented next level. Yeah. That she could bring one of the most famous characters in the history of Star Trek, played by one of the most famous actresses in the history of Star Trek, to a new level. And like, it's very few people can do that. Very few people can redefine a role like that. Benedict Cumberbatch, for all of his talent, is not very good as Khan. And it's not just because they forgot the melanin, but it's because guys like Naveen Andrews were already unbelievably talented and running around out there. And why were you not thinking about the fact that this character represented fear by being an ethnic minority, and then you don't give him the respect of honoring the other parts of his culture that you're clearly using to make him scary? Like, fucked, not cute.
I also really love Andrew's point, because when we're expanding the show offerings, we've always gotten little bits of hints of culture in Star Trek, whether it is alien cult, whether it's Bajoran culture on Deep Space Nine, but then also Earth culture with Ben bringing like his father's cooking, but also his love of baseball, and even doing past episodes where they reference like Hugo Gernsback and old sci-fi. A lot of Picard was Earth-based, and you saw the arts, the food and beverage industry, the seedy underbellies of Earth. And, I would love to see an Alaska or a Saphira actually representing a show that the kids go out to in San Francisco in that year, because forms of art like drag are probably still around. And like, RuPaul's Drag Race loves to do things like the challenge is drag of the future, but it's always hacky and hammy because it's for a competition, because they're so limited, because they have to go down the runway, because Rue's insane, because Michelle's insane, because production's insane. This is actually a show where you could, as a Saphira or as an Alaska, conceive of the drag of the future, not to impress judges for $100,000, but because you have been employed to hone your craft to imagine what your art form could look like thousands of years from now. And I drag was around thousands of years ago. Drag will be around thousands of years from now. And I think kids at Starfleet Academy will probably still want, in San Francisco, will probably still want to go to drag shows. So I actually legitimately love the idea. And I think that like it should apply to so many different things.
I can't stop loving what you're saying, because like I'm already imagining, and I'm not kidding, that there must be a Klingon term for a powerful, when a warrior is capable of doing a drag performance. Like there must be a Klingon word for it, and I can imagine Vulcans have an unusual appreciation for when gender is shed and the art
or like micro aesthetics. Like,
yes,
it like, has to do with like cutting a crease at a fucking nano level.
And think about how a Betazoid would feed on the energy of a drag show. Drag shows are some of the happiest places I've ever been in my life. And also when you take into concept like aliens that have different genders. So you're doing, or like just doing alien drag, like you are a human that does Klingon drag, regardless of gender. Is that speciest? Yeah, probably. And then it's probably like at times speciest. Yeah,
very, very irreverent, and some people really love it because you can't dishonor somebody when you're trying to elevate them. But some people hate it. You
dishonored us with your drag.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I just like it really can become 4-dimensional, imagining it in the future. And the reverse of that is I do feel as though if any song were being played at a wedding hundreds of years in our future, I just don't think it would be Wake Me Up Before You Go.
I thought this was one of
it's
those...
a cute moment.
Kevo had a really excellent point. And, there's no reason that Star Wars doesn't exist in the Star Trek universe because it's movies, but there's obviously a reason that a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away can't exist in Star Trek, obviously. In Star Wars, like Star Trek can't be there. But I don't know. Like I can think of when we were kids, my jazz band in high school, we were all obsessed with Van Morrison's Moon Dance, and so we convinced Dr. C to just do Moon Dance at we arranged it ourselves, and actually Nicole Hofstetler arranged it. Anyway, so like we did Moon Dance, and like that was cool, and like that song was old, and like, but at the same time, oh my god, who did what? Oh, I can't remember what super metal band did all those 50s covers. Or when Good Charlotte or Newfound Glory would do 50s throwbacks. Like there's something intrinsic about our culture's need for retroism that feeds us.
Yeah. And I just didn't think it would be Wham.
And the reason I like that it is because it's gay.
Yeah.
I just love the idea that gay art survived. Like it's, oh god, who did KEVO, Copeland. Like this is pop music's Copeland.
I think I would have loved if it had been Freedom or
yeah. I liked
Unmatched.
that it was something like Wake Me Up. Because, you know, everything on TNG was always so the classics and whatnot. And I really appreciate the reminder that the era that we're living in exists, is their history, and is something that would be celebrated. I think part of the thought process back in the 90s, I don't think they thought about it at all in the 60s. And I think the thought process back in the 90s was, oh, we're too highbrow to be thinking about pop culture things in the future. No, it's dumb. Cat memes ruined the internet from the very inception of people having immediate access. So yeah, I like it being something like this because I like the reminder that Star Trek exists in our world and it has this irreverence. I like that in Disco Season 1 they had hip-hop music playing at a party because, like, yeah, that's something that the young kids would listen to at a party. So, you know, that song exactly for this wedding, not sure about that. There's Irreverent, and then there's... I mean, it could have been Never Gonna Give You Up for all that, you know?
If J.J. Abrams gave us one thing for the Star Trek universe, it was James T. Kirk listening to Sabotage while he stole that car, because that broke the dam wide open on assuming that in the future they might listen to ours. Because that, to me, like, that is a song that I feel like, yes, in a few hundred years, you will still listen to as a child when you're stealing your parents' car. Okay. I don't know if I buy Wham at the wedding, but maybe I don't know everybody's taste. Maybe Wham at the wedding.
It should have been the Electric Slide, is what it should have been. It should have been the Shuffle or something. Like
it should have been.
It could not be Sweet Caroline.
Hologram of Kylie doing the locomotion.
I get that it was they were, I think they were going for a song you hear at weddings now.
Yeah, and also that it's instantly recognized. I mean, it's not bad. I just, you know,
too bad I want it to be Remember the Time by Michael Jackson.
Sold.
For once in my life, Stevie Wonder, like, these would have been good things, but what are you gonna do?
I had a great time with everything Star Trek. I'm really excited about Con. Genuinely, it looks like such a fully produced podcast, and like the more production value that goes into a podcast, the happier I am. I love a good low-key podcast, like especially if it's like a spooky story. I love Get on That Microphone. There's some really great stories from the No Sleep Reddit podcast that I love. And they're really just a person being scared with a microphone. But a great big production value, like a Sandman audio drama, and that's Dirk Maggs, right? That has that element for me.
Yeah.
And this feels like it's that produced.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about who helped produce it and what it's all looking like.
I'm just hoping that it looks a little better to me than Alien Earth is looking right now, which Alien Earth is like one of the things I'm most excited about in this world.
I'm seeing great things.
I'm so excited, but knowing that like the first 3 episodes were produced during the strike, and so that they're actually like all people who are not
episodes.
They're either scabs or they're all non-guild actors who then have to either leave the show or become guild actors immediately, and it's a mess. And so like having a sci-fi genre show be more complete and less damaged than I'm looking forward to from my favorite franchise ever, it's tough. So this being such a joy this year has been great.
The dude directing Con, from here. He's the Dirk Maggs of Portland, Maine.
Oh.
No, you're the Dirk Maggs of Portland, Maine.
I'm trying to be. I keep asking this guy to give me a job, but that's wild. I was like, there's no way. I figured it would be somebody else, but yeah, I just went and looked up the cast, and
we'll cover your podcast. We'll have you on the show. We'll let you talk about your dumb book, or we'll let you cook dinner. We let you do terrible things on this show. Just be on it.
I appreciate that KEVO is not calling anybody potentially involved with condom. He is referring to how many people have done
previous
interviews on this show.
Yep. Don't look too far into our archive to see who I'm talking about.
All right, final thoughts. I think my big takeaway is that this is just a great time to be a Star Trek fan. And that is not always true. Especially because there's not always a lot of Star Trek. There's eras where there's too much Star Trek, and then there's eras where there's not enough Star Trek. If there's one thing that we didn't talk about that I wish we'd had a chance to talk about, and I don't want to sound like a silly Nelly Queen, even though I totally am, right? Country grammar time. Let's go. I loved that Uhura had new hair. I loved all of the cool outfits at the wedding, but the thing I loved the most was in episode 3. I thought number 1's hair was so Janeway. And it just reminded me, and that was just me trying to keep all of my energy in how much I love it. She just looks distinguished. She looks strong. She looks adult, and not that, long pin straight hair isn't cool, but like it sort of looked at sometimes like she was trying to look like a cool college kid because they don't ever want the cast to look too old. And giving her this mature hair just really allows this beautiful woman to show many facets of her face with more off of it. And it allows her to emote more and act better. And she deserves that. She deserves every minute of that because she puts a lot into her facial work. She really, really does.
Yeah.
My final takeaway, I mean, like I said, it's the thing I was talking about at the beginning. Like, I'm having a real eye-opening moment about how I relate to all of this stuff. I am so excited that you guys got me on board with this show because it is a joy to watch. It's really fun. It's so gorgeous. Just the visuals and aesthetics alone are so fun to explore. The actors are really great. I'm just having an absolute blast with it. And on the other end of things, like, there's a part of me that's so excited for Starfleet Academy, and then a part of me that is so weirdly critical. And it's really making me get both into and out of my own head about what I want from these things, and what I sort of let my expectations become, and where I can let those go and let the show just sort of happen. So it's been very fun getting back into it. So wild that we were just kind of in a lull, with the exception of Lower Decks, which, our stalwart friend at all times. But really excited to see these last 7 episodes and then see where we go next. And look at this little gay rainbow space explorers. I love them.
And I think Lower Decks ending in November, when we got 2 seasons of Lower Decks since the last season of this, and we didn't really have much except for the Section 31 movie in between Lower Decks and this. It's just felt like a real lull, which is, a tough complaint, considering the 12 years we went out with much except the J.J. Abrams movies. What? Oh, I thought he had something. Is he frozen?
Oh, I was frozen. I just want to say we were actually out in public with some friends, and we were at a bar, and we were talking, and we found out that my friend of a bunch of years, his husband, is a big Star Trek fan. And the first thing he was like, "Oh, you guys are Star Trek fans? What did you think of Section 31? And we were like, same. And he was like, so like exactly what you're referring to, Kevo. It's not been a wealth since then.
Well, and that actually even does dovetail back into what I was going to say as part of my closing, which is, this is not always 100%. Like I said, there was that fuel refinery episode in season 2 that I didn't love. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I am interested. I love Muppets. I think they're cool, but I don't know if this is going to be hallucination. Planet of the Muppets. I don't know what it's going to be. But I'm excited. This is what I had meant to make our opening banner, and I couldn't remember, and then I saw it again and I was like, fuck, because this banner is so cool, this image is so cool. The line suggests to me that this is probably going to be a prototype holodeck. We saw the establishment of such on Star Trek the Animated Series, which takes place 20 years after this. So they do a lot of really interesting things. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to Starfleet Academy. And, in comparison to what little we're getting out of something like Star Wars right now, it's a great time to be a fan of this franchise, that's for sure.
Yeah, the IntelliChi of Star Trek in this moment is breathtaking in scope. And so, you know, just the idea that they could seize that potential is so much to me. You know, I don't do this much, but I don't. And if please somebody stop me if it turns out that Humble Bundle helped steal the Elgin marble. But one of those things that just like as a Greek person, I'm a difficult person about.
You're entitled.
But thank you. Humble Bundle has $894 of Star Trek comics for $24 right now. It's 39 collections across 27 titles or something. I'm gonna go do it as soon as this episode's over, just because I want them, and I actually own a bunch of them already because I'm a big fan, and they cover multiple areas of the franchise. So just like, you know, remember that you know, one of the things is the second episode of this season had an unbelievable way of merging two parts of continuity that is so unique and so special. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to spoil it. But what a cool moment for kind of blending elements of sci-fi and of a show. And like, it started in a novel. It all began in a novel. So Star Trek spinoff canon always matters. So check out these comics. I'm really excited to. But does anybody have anything else they want to share? Because this is a fandom that we all experience uniquely, that we all love special, and no one deserves the final word more than anyone else. And I just want to make sure that everybody got their Star Trek feels out.
I got it all out. It's all on the table.
I'm excited it's back, and that it's back on the table to be talking about again, because it's been a while since we've had enough to really talk about, and so this is pretty cool.
Man, I'm so excited. And so until we come back, Kevo, you produced this thing, and you produced it so fine. So I want to know if everybody wants to find out a little bit more about what you do, the things you love, the things you find fascinating. I know you make a comic, you color it, you letter it, you help produce it. But what else do you do? Like, where can we find you? That was it. That was great. Fuck, great. Find the name.
Was such a long intro for, say, your social media handle. At KEVO Really. KEVO REALLY. You like literally asked me to like, what's your bio? What's going on in your life? What are your childhood fears? What street did you grow up on?
If this were the Newlywed Game, would you or would you not accept the date? Oh no, Newlywed Game. I meant dating game. Oh, I ruined my joke anyway. It was gonna be a Rodney Akala joke. Anyway, TK,
you're even too much for yourself.
I am TK, and you know what, TK? I think I'd like to say that it would really make me happy if, when it was time to do, another audio drama, you got the chance to take up something like your ideas for capturing things from Voyager. You know, you've put out 3 or 4 things from Voyager this episode you would want to run with. I know that Janeway is, I believe she's your favorite captain definitively. And if not, she has every reason to be anyone's favorite captain. She's phenomenal. And I would just, love to thank you for taking the chance on this, because, you said a few times that you had to be pushed, and like, that's reflective of feeling like you didn't come to it at first. And so it's just really great that you're here at all. That's really all that matters. So thank you. And where can we find you, and anything else?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the great thing about having fandom friends and people to explore stuff with is, I wouldn't have done it on my own. And nobody was like, no, you need to. Like, nobody annoyed me about it, but you guys really liked it. And sometimes that's enough. That's just a little push you need.
Like us with Grey's Anatomy.
I hate you all. What's really funny is I know at this point I've talked up Titan so much more than Grey's Anatomy, and as I go back to finish,
it's on the list.
I know, and it's not good.
No, it doesn't need to be good.
But I really enjoy it.
It's fine.
I really, really enjoy it. But yeah. Anyway, you can find me at TK Accidental, and if you been wondering about any of the stupid things we talk about and you think like, I don't really want to watch that, but maybe I do, just message me and I will tell you how much I love it and that you should watch it too. And then you can message me and talk about it. NICO, you're up.
Oh man, Nico Action, NICO-ACTION, Nico Action Music, NICO-ACTION-MUSIC. I love making music for this show. I love producing tracks for it, and I love getting to talk with these guys about our favorite things. I grew up a Star Wars nerd, I grew up a Star Trek nerd, I grew up a Marvel nerd, and like I felt so alone in those things until I discovered that there wasn't just fandom, but there was fandom that wanted to make these things with you. So definitely take the chance and not just check out these projects, but check out our other stuff, whether it's X's for Comics, X's for Show. Check those out on podcast and here on YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe because we love you guys. But there's 3 things you guys need to do for us for yourselves. Number 1, please stay safe. It's a crazy world out there. You never know when there's going to be the burn. Number 2, please be brave, because even if there is the burn, we want you guys to succeed. And that's why we need you guys to evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, incredible. Who you are today, amazing. But it's who you are tomorrow that is the real dream. And so until we come back and face the burn, we will see you. Oh, he's so handsome.